What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. We're going to talk about all of the gun changes in detail in this video. It might be one video, it might be two. I guess we'll see how far we get. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let's get straight into it. Right, SMGs, this is where we are going to start. We're going to use IKEA's sheets. It looks like he's updated them for phase 2 already. What a legend. Definitely go and check him out. I believe he's live on Twitch right now. I'll link his channel down below. Right, okay, so this is his sheet. His sheets are way better than mine. He keeps them all neat and tidy, and mine are terrible. So right, so let's look here. So the MP7 was the only change in the SMG category. We can see here they only changed the MP7 from phase 1 to phase 2. All the other changes from phase 1 have stayed in. And if we look at this here, and then we just take a quick look at my screenshot, which I pulled from the old sheet that I had, you can see very, very carefully that MP7 is no longer at the bottom. It moves up. The Vector 9mm and the Vector 45 both drop down, and it takes its place just above here as well, which is a bit of a shame. I always kind of hope for it a little bit better for the MP7. As you can see here, there is still a 30% gap. That kind of stayed pretty much the same between all the SMGs, which is rough. The Ouroboros on this sheet, he's got it down at 1375. It's not, it's actually 1350 is what it's been changed to. So if I change this to 1350 on my sheet that I can edit, because I can't edit his, and I just flip over and I'll make a quick copy of that there for you. You can see this here. So you can see here with the Ouroboros, it's this top one here, that the sustained DPS is going to be 510. So a little bit less than what he has in the sheet. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of going to put it in a tricky place with the chatterbox. I guess we will see what happens. If we scroll down, the MP7 actually then becomes in a much better place when it becomes to burst DPS, which I think is pretty interesting, because it actually means that as far as, you know, high-end SMGs go, the MP7 does become viable now. If you look here, it was down at the bottom here, which is meh. So, you know, it was at the bottom of phase 1. It was just completely dead in the water, right? It was no good at all. But as far as burst damages go, as you can see here, you can, oh, he's actually, you know, that's very nice of him. He's put a phase 1 tab in here. You can see there is a significant difference, and it pumps it right up to mid-table. So although not the best, yeah, I think it's definitely going to be usable now if people tend to like that gun and they've specced into expertise on it. All right, next category. They did pistols and they put in the harvest. Now I'm going to do a separate video on the harvest. I think it's pretty special. But if we went into the spreadsheet, I didn't add it in the spreadsheet on the first time around, so we'll just have a look. And pistol damage really isn't the be all and end all, but you can see here for sustain it's near the bottom, and for burst it's near the top. But that's because you get the opportunity to do one pop things with this thing. It's crazy powerful. So yeah, that's just the harvest. We're not too fussed about that anyway. Shotguns, I think this has had quite a significant change, so let's flip over to this. I'm going to shotguns, and what I'll do is I'll pull the old sheet up again so you can see the difference, and we can try and understand what it is they've been doing and why they've been doing it. So that was the old sheet. That's the new sheet. This is the old sheet. So the rock and roll is still at the top. Then so yeah, so the M870 for sustain goes up. KSG is disappeared down now as well. So yeah, KSG got took down. ACS 12 is still up there. M870 is going to be brilliant still. The Super 90 still got smacked, which is disappointing as far as sustain goes. But then we get a different story again now when we go down to the bottom, which is interesting to say the least. So if I just get this one up again here, you can see the changes that they made here with the burst column. So you can see here that the Super 90 was still saying the same. So Super 90 still saying the same, but it's had this nerf that reverted a little bit, kind of a halfway mark. So it's kind of stayed as is in this category. Super 90 is going to be good still. But yeah, they've kind of just undone half the nerds, but it's kept everything in the same kind of order, right? But there's a huge fall off with shotguns. Again, it's a 30% fall off. You can see from 100% to 30%. We're sawing off in the DB, we'll just ignore. And again, it gets to, you know, well, it's 23% fall off as far as burst. And then when you look at something like the AR category that's way more competitive, you know, it's like 100% down to only 86%, 14% difference, and then, you know, 9% difference in burst. Why on earth the SMG category has a 15% difference, you know, and the 30% difference in sustain, and then for the shotguns to be like, there are all the other categories are so more unbalanced in comparison to the assault rifle category that is really well balanced. And in fact, it was better balanced before Project Resolve, so it's a bit of a weird decision. Marksman rifles, so the SR1, the M700, the SRS, and the 308 all got changes. So we'll go into MMR, and you can see here. I mean, it's pretty hard to navigate this category because it's not really something you look at for burst or sustained DPS. But as far as changes go from PTS1 to PTS2, the category looks very similar. Although, you know, the damage have been brought back up, the position of everything hasn't changed. You can see that it all just sits in the same category. You know, you can see that the M700 carbon, that's now 412, so that got its little bit of a reverse. The SR1, more powerful now. So yeah, they're all more powerful. But let's just kind of, you know, look at this here, right? Down to the SR1, these are all very, very similar guns, right? So if we look at this here, it's still very samey, but look at the difference. It's only a 13% difference, which is good. You know, they've actually made this category better with these changes that they've done. So yeah, I guess we will see. Alright, so let's have a look at the next ones. Rifles will be last but not least. So I did think they might undo the M1A section, but they chose not to, which I'm very, very, very happy about. Merciless still has got a great buff, sits at the top of the sustained DPS as far as exotics go. I do want to mention that because it is really, really nice. And then if we look at the sustain here for rifles, and we'll look at it in comparison to the last phase. Now again, they're not badly balanced, but as you can see, nothing really changes even with the changes that they've made. It's just that what they've done is they've lessened the nerfs, but yet they keep everything in the correct order. And we all know that the M1A is king, even though it's sat right here at the bottom. But again, apart from the M1A CQB, which for some reason is miles out in comparison to everything else, there is only a 19% difference, you know, between these here. And if we scroll down here at the bottom, nothing much has changed here apart from the 1886, whereas it was top, you know, before. It drops down, but it still will be top tier. You can't really judge rifles off the burst damage, but everything else kind of stayed in the same order apart from the 1886 moving down the table because of that. But yeah, that's really it for the video. I just thought I'd do one quick video to kind of go over all these changes. Big shout out to IKEA for updating his sheet so quick and saving me a lot of work. Yeah, I think they are better changes. You know, if they have to try and balance things, they've done a better job second time round. They hit them all way too hard previously. So they have done a better job second time around, but I still think there's some general tidying up that needs doing across all of the categories. You know, I think that they could quite easily bring, you know, over half of the SMG category up in sustain, you know, and again, you know, not as much in burst, but just in the sustained section, like, you know, LMGs. Again, there's a good 25% bracket there that could be made smaller. You know, ARs, they don't know why they don't learn off ARs. ARs are so well balanced. They were even better balanced, like I said, before Project Resolve. And even when they did make the Resolve changes, they're still very well balanced. So I really don't understand why we've got such a really well balanced category in ARs, but then the rest are just pretty wild. You know, up to 30% difference in some categories. You know, and SMGs are used a lot, so it doesn't really make too much sense to me that they are so wildly far apart. Right, okay, I've cranked on enough about this video, so don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye.